fellow YouTubers of the world, and welcome to a late edition of Arizona Griper, starring your beautiful host, Mr. Arizona. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody's feeling well. And hopefully everybody is having a decent day. Me, I'm trying to. It is now 12:40 in the evening on Thursday, May 14th, 2026. And today is my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Shell Shell. Hope you're doing all right. Even though she doesn't celebrate birthdays, but I don't give a fuck. So, anyhow, man, that a little. There we go. Let's see, I had a little smearage on there. There you go. That's my battery thing. Battery's at like 44%. I think we're okay. I'm just going to cruise till the tires fall off. So let me see if I can get my chat. Now it won't let me do it, will it? There we go. Oh, now I did it. Just had to adjust it. There you go. Now it's set. So that when people want to come in here and chat, they can. And I noticed not that many people come in here this late at night, so they just don't because it's too late, of course. But you never can tell. Might be some late night chatters here. Surprised Legsy did. Hey, there's one. Really? You have to come in here spamming right away? God, I've only been on here for what? About less than 2 minutes. And you're already spamming the chat. Nice job. Sorry. Don't take spamming the chat. And also, there's another idiot there. I'm going to take him out too. There. I'm assuming these are kids. Or either that or just smart asses. And I don't really need you guys to be in here like that. Yeah, then now we have a good one. What's up, New Zealand? What's up, Cowie Colfie or whatever the heck you are? Hopefully you're old enough to be here. At least you're a sensible one. And for the comment that just got deleted, I don't think I'm going to even read it. This is just... Let's see. What's up, man? Hey, how's it going, man? Are you guys old enough to be here or no? If not, you're going to have to get the F out of here. I don't know. Are you old enough for me to talk to you, or are you too young? Because I don't deal with kids. I deal with adults only. If you're an adult, you're more than welcome to stay. If not, bye. Yes, I'm from Arizona. It's kind of a dumb question. Then why were you acting like a kid by acting like a jackass? Well, you gonna be nice? If I did block you by mistake, I apologize. Okay? There. No, I'm just kind of cleaning up the kitchen a little bit. So, I'm from. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm from Arizona personally, so. This is cake, a chocolate cake. It's actually really good. Um, I made it. I made it yesterday. Actually, I made it today with a nice goulash. Really, really good. Damn it! I wish I would have. Yeah, I wish I would have videotaped it. I really did. I wish I would have videotaped this whole thing, but I didn't. The main reason why is because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So, sí, yo hablo español, inglés, el que sea. So yeah, I do speak Spanish, and I made a nice tuna salad too, dude. So that's 2 in 1. Only problem is I'm running out of room in my goddamn fridge. Yeah. Well, I just told him I spoke Spanish too. Uh, Actually, no, but I am. For some reason, I don't know why, but I do catch on to just about any language really, really fast and really quickly. I just have that knack. But I would have to basically talk and ask questions. That's how I learned. And believe it or not, I could not learn Spanish out of a book. I could not learn it out of a video. I had to learn it basically. Ah, cool. Yeah, I learned it basically. How I learned it was to basically, I just talked and I asked questions. They would say, "How do you say this in English?" And I would say it. And they'd say, "Well, how do you say this in Spanish?" I would ask them, "How do you say this in Spanish?" And then they would repeat it. And it was a good way of communicating, and it was a good way of their learning English, and well, I'm learning Spanish. So we kind of, did a you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back type of thing, and it worked out really good because, I used to work in a golf course, and I had to actually we had to actually work with each other. So we had to kind of understand what the fuck we were saying so that we could communicate with each other and understand what each other is saying so that we could get the work that we needed to get done. So, in a way, it kind of benefited both of us. It benefited me and it benefited him as well because we had to communicate to get certain jobs and certain tasks done. That's all. Most. Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, my wife is Hispanic, and I love my wife to death, man. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here online talking with you guys today if it hadn't have been for my wife. My wife actually, she saved my life, guys. For real. She saved my life. And if you guys want to know the story behind that, I'll be glad to tell you. But it's quite interesting. It's a quite interesting history. If you want to hear about it, let me know and I'll tell you. So. I hope they do improve it. Personally, what we need to have done is, and I'm telling you the truth, the borders do need to be opened up, and we do need to have a workforce that needs to be here, because our economy is going in the fucking tank and we're getting less and less people to work. Less money is coming in, less taxes are being paid because we're cutting everybody off. So therefore, that's the reason why our economy is sucking ass. And we need to bring it back. We need to open up the borders. We need to have people coming in here. And, they're saying, okay, well, they're not legal, they're this and that. Well, then take out the proper steps to make them legal so that they can get a job, so that they can work and generate taxes and help get us out of fucking debt. We had all these people coming in here. Why not put them to work, for God's sakes? Shit, instead of kicking them out everywhere, put them to goddamn work. Get them the fucking jobs. Do the shit that you can to fucking help them out so that they can get a job and fucking, generate taxes. Get our economy out of fucking debt, man. We had a golden opportunity. We had all of these people that came in here. Why not fucking naturalize them and put them to work? That's what they came here for. They came here to work. They didn't come here to sell drugs or do any of that crap. They came here to work and earn an honest living. And also, for the people that are already here, leave them the fuck alone. They're generating taxes. They're generating monies that we don't fucking have. So leave it the fuck alone. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Sorry, I'm very passionate about that. Yeah. See, I'm going to tell you something, okay? I got to watch what I say about this, because I get censored on this. Now, as you guys may or may not know, at the time that when I first met my wife, this was back in '98, and this was back in '98, and a girlfriend that I lived with had just dumped me because she basically, I don't think she wanted to live with me no more. She got sick of me and just decided, you know what? You can't stay here no more. So something happened and I wound up leaving. Okay? I wound up leaving. Yeah, exactly. There is room for them. There should be room for them. You know, you don't. And think about this, Jen. Think about this in a economy type thing. Every person that we kicked out, that's money walking right out the fucking door. Seriously. Hey, what's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. But every illegal that we kicked out, that's money going right out the door and into someone else's hand. You guys understanding? From an economic standpoint, that was the most stupidest thing that we ever did, was throw out all the illegals. Because once you do that, that was when our economy went down the shitter. All we had to do was take the steps to get these people legalized and to get that ball rolling so that we can have them as fellow taxpayers and fellow voters. You're looking at about, what, over hundreds of people that have been deported, that have been ripped from their families, and everything like that, when it never needed to go down that route. It never needed to happen. It didn't. But because it did, our economy has gone down the tank. Because of it. It's been tanking. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. There you go. But our economy has been tanking because of it. And it sucks. Royally, it sucks. Because hell, the stuff that you used to get at the grocery store, you can't find no more. Because why? Because nobody's helping us anymore. Nobody wants anything to do with us anymore. Because we're shit. And we need to get out of the fucking, out of the fucking toilet. Because if we don't, our economy is only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. We got to do something. We've got to make a deal, something. Do something positive. Instead of having these goddamn wars with goddamn, countries that have nothing to do with us and our situation. Those countries have nothing to do with us. Nothing. Because believe it or not, the stuff that goes on in Saudi Arabia and all that other kind of crap, I'm sorry, but that's been going on way before we even came into the picture. You're looking at a war that's been going on for thousands upon thousands of years. Way before we even stepped in. Way before we even knew. Way before a lot of us were even a gleam in our mom's eye. Because think about it. They've always been at war with each other. They've always been fighting with each other. They've always been arguing with each other. I say let them handle their own shit. Let them handle their own wars over there. We don't need to get involved. Why? Just let them handle themselves. They've done it for thousands of years. Let it go. You know? That way we can focus on something else. That way we can focus on our own country, on our own people. Because this is what's happening, folks. A lot of people are focusing our energies out towards there and not here where it matters. Oh, you just got home from shopping? Oh, well, welcome back. My Matty Matt. But, you know, like I said, but anyway, let's get back to what I was saying here. Okay. Now, this was 98 when I had met my wife. Now, I have to be very careful on my wordage about this, because YouTube is very, very picky about what I say and what people say and what people do on here these days. So I've got to word it a little differently, but the meaning is the same. Okay? So you've kind of got to bear with me on that one. So hang on for just 1 second, guys. Hold on. But anyway, what now? Exactly. Exactly, brother. Yeah. Yes. They've been fighting all of that crap since biblical times. Why should we get involved in their stuff? They never asked for it. They never asked for us to go up there to help. They can handle it themselves. They know how to do it. They've been handling it themselves for a long time. Why should we interfere? Leave them alone. If they want our help, they would ask for it. And they never did ask for it, did they? We just went in there. You know, they never asked for our help. They never said, hey, we're having problems with this. Can you help us out? No, they never asked for anything from us. They pretty much handled their own stuff down there. They did. They never asked us to be there. They never asked us to do all that stuff in there. No, they pretty much handled their own shit. You know, that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that a lot of these countries out here, they don't ask us for help. They don't need our help. They can handle it themselves. You know, that's the whole point I'm trying to make. Yeah, no problem. Good night to you too as well. You take care, okay? All right, as... Yes, exactly, Matt. Exactly. They don't have no brain sense, yeah. Because think about it, dude. Dude, we tried to help them out, right? What did they fucking do? What did they do? They were sitting there spitting on us, burning American flags, telling us to get the hell out of there. So what were we doing there? Why were we in a place that we weren't really wanted to begin with? Why were we even there? They didn't want us to be there. They were handling their own stuff. They didn't want us to be there. They didn't ask us to be there. But we wound up there. You know, seriously, it all boils down to the same thing. If a country or place wants our help, they would ask for it. We don't just show up and say, well, we're here to help, when they don't want our help, when they don't need our help. You know, like I said, sometimes they got to focus in their own backyard before they worry about somebody else's. That's just telling the truth. It's not me being selfish. It's not me being mean or anything like that. It's just me being truthful. Why can't we focus on our own shit for once instead of everybody else's? Why can't we focus on our own people? Because think about it. The people here are suffering. People are losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their livelihoods. For what? For what purpose? What reason? Why? Things get too expensive because we dump our monies off somewhere else? You know? Seriously. You know, there comes a time and a point in life where you can't just save the world. You got to save yourself, dude. Because if you don't, no one else will. I would love, don't get me wrong, I would love to save the world. I really would. I would love to make it to where it's a peaceful and loving world for everybody. I would. I really would. But unfortunately, the world ain't like that. The world ain't like, you know, the world's not full of wine and roses. It's not. You know, it's just, people are different. The world's different, you know. It's just, it's full of positive and negative things all the time. You know, you can't really change the world, but at least you can change yourself and help out other people one person at a time. That's the best thing you can do. That's free advice. You may not be able to change the world, but at least we can change ourselves and be better. And that's the best advice from the Arizona Griper I can ever give out. So, yeah. I'm just kind of cleaning off the top part of the stove right now. So. But anyway, like I said, back to my little story. Like I said, it was 1998, and a girl that I used to live with had broken up with me, kicked me out, and I wound up, you know, living back with my parents again. And I lived there for quite some time. And this was when the wife and I were separated at the time. And, I did pretty good. I worked with my dad and helped him out in the yard and all that. Had a job at the time, was working, making money, doing all this. Till finally one day, it was Christmas Eve day. Hold up, let me talk to you guys over here. But anyway, it was Christmas Eve day. Hold on, let me. It was Christmas Eve day. And it was, raining pretty. All right, here's how it all started. It was me, my mom, my little sister, and my dad. We were all in the car. My dad was in the passenger seat. My mom was driving. And me and my little sister were in the back seat. Well, naturally, my little sister started popping off at the mouth. And she would continually do that constantly. So finally, it happened on that day to where I had enough. My patience was growing thin, and and I just decided to go off. Because I got tired of hearing my little sister running her fucking mouth, pissing me off, aggravating me. So I snapped. So, instead of her going off at my mom and doing all that, I went off at her and I told her off. And so my little sister was like, oh, I can't believe it, you just said that, and blah, 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 blah. So she was getting all offensive and all this other kind of stuff. Finally, my mom chimed in and told us both to shut up. And so we went home. And I thought that it was going to end there. Well, it didn't. It wound up continuing on. And I was extremely upset, and I wasn't in the right frame of mind. And finally, it got to the point to where, now my dad was in his map room at the time, which was just a spare room. And we always called it the map room because that's where he would go in there and plan our, fishing trips, camping trips, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I go in there and my dad was busy doing something. This is when he was alive. And I said, Dad, I have to talk to you for a minute. And he was still busy. I said, Dad, I can't, I told him that I couldn't live there no more and that I have to get out. I have to leave. And he finally puts his glasses down, turns around, and he says, well, I can't tell you what to do because you're a grown-ass man. But I'm just saying to you, if you leave here, there's no coming back. And I said, fine. And I grabbed my bike and I took off. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know what I was going to do at the time. And eventually my frame of mind started getting worse. And at the time I had 0 people to talk to about anything. But I was talking with a friend of mine. And I figured, well, if anyone can talk some sense into me, it might be her. So I tried to get a hold of her on the phone. She didn't answer. So eventually my state of mind escalated even further. And it wound up to where I was going downhill in an incredible speed, so to speak. And I was thinking about doing something that, I was going to regret. So, for some reason, I don't know why, I called up my wife. And my son had answered. And then that's when I blew up and came undone and explained to him the whole situation. And I just repeated, it was over, it was over, it was over. I'm done, I'm through, this and that and this and that and this and that. And it just hysterics out the wazoo. And my son said, look, whoa, 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 just a minute. Stop for a minute. Stop. Just stop for a minute. And he says, before you do something that you're going to regret, let me see if I can get my mom on the phone and she could talk to you. So I'm like, fine. So I hang up and I'm waiting. Nothing's happening. Till finally I decide to call back. And I call back. And my wife answers. And once again, I told her the whole situation and all this crap and all this stuff. And her way was the simplest way I could ever think of. She said, "You know what, AZ?" I said, "What?" "Just come home." Like, what? She says, "Yeah, just come home. I need you. Your daughter needs you. Just come home and we'll straighten all this mess out." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I went home. I met my wife at the Taco Bell that was right there. And we ate and I had a good time. And it came down to where I put my bicycle in the back of her vehicle. And yeah, been back with her ever since. And that's what you call turning a frown upside down. And that's why I'll always say that she said, now, I know I left some stuff out, but I just kind of highlighted the little parts. I don't think you want me to go into grave detail with just every single little thing that happened from there to there. That's too long of a story. So just the plot points, shit like that. So, but that's why I'll always be grateful to my wife for saving my life, because she actually did. Because she took me away from my old life and gave me a new one that I'll never forget. And you know what's funny about the whole thing? It took me well over 10 years to really get used to her and understand everything she's about. Because when I first met her, believe it or not, hold on, I gotta chuck this real quick. When I first met my wife, she was actually the first woman I ever married, the first woman that I ever had a kid with, the first woman that I ever decided to have a life with. I mean, I've tried it in the past with a few other people, but it never turned out. This was the first time it actually ever turned out. This was the first time it actually ever got anywhere. And I'm thankful for that. I'm blessed for that every single day. I mean, my wife blessed me with a beautiful home, a beautiful daughter, beautiful dogs, everything. Technically, I'm content because I have right now everything that a guy like me could want in life. And I'm really happy about that. I really am. It's a good feeling, you know, it really is. You know, because, you know, a home isn't a home unless somebody's living in it. You know, shoes are not shoes unless somebody's wearing them. You know, an adventure is not an adventure unless somebody's experiencing it for themselves. You know, and it's so true with so many different things. But I just wanted to clear that up and make that, even though I probably said that about 15 bazillion times, but still, you know. Anyway, guys, I'm about ready to head out because I am going to take a shower and I am going to bed. It's almost 1:30 in the evening, in the morning, and I got to take a shower and go to bed. So, you guys, yeah, and I do have the kitchen cleaned up, so my wife don't bitch at me in the morning for anything, so that's a good thing. Oh, by the way, guys, I tried this cherry Coke float. It wasn't that bad, but guess what? You guys can't read that. 0 sugar. That's what the buzzkill was. Because at the dollar store, they didn't have the normal one. They had this shit. Which, you know, to me wasn't bad. But it kind of wasn't what I expected. So, for something like that, I'd say it's probably about a 5 out of 10. Wasn't that good and it wasn't that bad either. It was just, yeah. Tasted too bland, you know, like kind of when you eat your food and you don't put salt or anything flavoring in it, just kind of bland, you know. That's my opinion anyway. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head out, so you guys take care. Much love. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you. Peace. God bless you, and good night.